What if I told you that much of what we think we know about the history of Palestine has been carefully curated, with key parts intentionally left out? We're often presented with a narrative that begins in 1948, as if the story of a people in their land just suddenly appeared. But that's not the whole story, not even close. Welcome to the Palestine Files, in Teeth series. We're peeling back the layers of a history that is often hidden, misunderstood, or deliberately ignored. This isn't about taking sides. It's about seeking truth. In our first file, we're rewinding the clock, long before 1948, to uncover a rich, vibrant, and complex history that is crucial to understanding the present. Let's go back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Under Ottoman rule, Palestine was a diverse, multicultural society. It was a land of farmers, merchants, poets, and scholars. Cities like Jerusalem, Jaffa, and Haifa were bustling centers of commerce and culture, where Muslims, Christians, and a small, long-established Jewish community lived together. They shared traditions, marketplaces, and a common identity rooted in the land. This wasn't an empty desert waiting to be discovered. It was a flourishing society with its own political aspirations and a strong sense of national identity. As the Ottoman Empire began to crumble, the political landscape shifted dramatically. The First World War brought the British into the picture, and with them came a document that would change the course of history forever: the Balfour Declaration of 1917. This was a letter from the British Foreign Secretary to a leader of the British Jewish community, promising support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. Here's the crucial part that often gets glossed over. The declaration also stated that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine. At the time, these non-Jewish communities made up over 90% of the population. They were the Palestinian Arabs. Yet, their future was being decided for them, without their consent, by a colonial power. This single document set in motion a chain of events that would lead to decades of conflict. Under the British mandate that followed, policies were implemented that favored the Zionist project, facilitating mass immigration and land acquisition. This fundamentally altered the demographic and social fabric of Palestine. For the indigenous Palestinians, this wasn't just a political shift. It was an existential threat. They saw their land, their society, and their hopes for self-determination slipping away. They organized, they protested, and they resisted. From the 1920s through the 1930s, there were major revolts and uprisings, most notably the Arab Revolt of 1936 to 1939. This wasn't random violence. It was a desperate struggle for independence against both British colonial rule and the growing Zionist movement. These events are not just footnotes in history. They are the essential context for everything that came after. Understanding this period of British colonial policy and Palestinian resistance is fundamental to grasping the realities of 1948 and the Nakba, where hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were displaced from their homes. The history of Palestine is not a simple story. It's a complex tapestry of culture, identity, and struggle. By ignoring its beginning, we lose the truth of the journey. This is just the first file. In our next episode, we'll dive deeper into the events leading up to 1948 and examine the human stories behind the headlines. If you believe in the power of knowing our full history, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you do unmiss the next chapter of the Palestine Files. Thank you for watching.